Hi, I'm Callie, and I'm a senior from Chaska High School.
I'm Thompson, a freshman from Chaska High School.
I'm Avery, a senior at Chaska High School.
And I'm Hannah, a senior from Chaska High School. Our health education presentation is called The Rice Project. It's focused on 4 prominent mental illnesses in our society: depression, anxiety, OCD, and eating disorders. We introduced our project with a short video on breaking the stigma around mental health before explaining to students what HOSA is and why we're doing this project. To really ensure that students were able to understand that people are affected by mental illness differently, a large portion of our presentation was an interactive activity that used rice, hence the name, The Rice Project. We wanted to make sure that this activity was in-depth and meaningful while still being fun and engaging.
To do this, we had clear cups with different colors on the top of each to represent different mental illnesses. Each cup represented a different person with a different mental illness. The color coding can be found on top of page 11. For our scenario outlines, we created reactions for each of our cups. We made sure to emphasize that these were made-up scenarios but could be similar to something that would happen in their everyday lives. For the first 2 scenarios, we told the classes the responses, but for the last 4 scenarios, we had the students give their thoughts on how they thought each cup would be impacted. These scenarios can be found on top of page 11 and 12.
We had different measuring cups that corresponded with the numbers shown next to the scenarios, 5 being the smallest, 1 teaspoon, and 1 being the biggest, 3/4 cup. After explaining how each person might react, we poured different amounts of rice in each of the cups to give a visual to the students to show how each scenario can affect people differently. During the reflection, we were able to discuss with them why some of the cups had different amounts of rice in them than the other cups. The reasoning behind this was to show the kids that everyone has a cup, which represents their mental health.
The differing amounts of rice in each cup was to show that different people react to certain situations differently. The cups that had rice overflowing was to represent how somebody dealing with a mental illness may not be able to maintain positive mental health the same as somebody who might not be dealing with a mental illness. Our overall goals and objectives for this lesson were to increase mental health awareness among middle school age kids, make middle schoolers more comfortable talking about mental health, and to normalize mental health in general.
Mental health tends to be one of the most influential determiners in everyday life. And if the students can understand more about these mental illnesses, they'll be able to talk about mental illness more frequently and in an effective way. To determine the success of our project and our ability to meet our goals, we gave each student a short reflection to fill out and return back to us. From this, we asked them to say whether they agree, are neutral, or disagree with a variety of statements. On page 17, you can see their answers to these questions, which show that most students reflected positively on our presentation. We also have the results of the Kahoot located on page 18 and 19, which show us that the students were able to learn and pick up new information from this presentation.
We met our goal of spreading mental health awareness by creating stickers that we gave to the students, which are pictured on page 16. We saw that many of the students were putting their stickers on their Chromebooks, phone cases, and water bottles, which allows for a wider audience to stop and think about mental health. Our next goal, to make middle schoolers more comfortable talking about mental health, was also met during our presentation. We gave the students a variety of opportunities to participate in the presentation and found that many of them wanted to give feedback and answer questions.
Our final goal, which was to normalize mental health, was met as well. We know this based on our survey results. Over 78% of the students agreed that mental health should be normalized, and with the students placing our stickers on their belongings, it shows that mental health is something that they are willing to talk about and display. We used a variety of materials to get our point across to the middle schoolers. For example, we used Google Slides to create our presentation, and were able to get most of our information from a variety of online resources. We used Mayo Clinic, Kids Health, Healthline, and more references that can be found on page 21.
Towards the end of our presentation, we had the students play a Kahoot that we created to test their knowledge of what they had learned. In addition, students had a variety of opportunities to receive a custom-made sticker from gotprint.com. The 3 ways that they could get one were by volunteering throughout our presentation, by being a top 3 finisher in our Kahoot, or everyone also received one at the end of the presentation. Overall, we want to make a difference in the lives of middle school-age children by increasing mental health awareness, normalizing mental health, and making the students feel comfortable talking about mental health. We did this by educating them and reminding them the importance of mental health and explaining how things can impact people in different ways.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.